Good afternoon, dear teachers. I warmly welcome you all to the workshop on using energizers and brain breaks in classroom by super educator Devika Datta. This session is brought to you by HChat India and Teacher.in. And this is a part of the job mela that is being organized from March 15 to March 21st. Now, I'd like to introduce the Teacher Network to all the new teachers who joined us today for the first time. Teacher.in is a professional network for K-12 educators, where educators can connect with fellow educators, exchange ideas and resources, attend training and upskilling sessions like these, and find jobs and other employment opportunities. We call ourselves the Teacher Revolution. It's teacher with an extra R.in. Now, there's some ground rules that we'd like you to follow so that we have some great learning experience. You can post in your queries and questions in the chat box, and Devika ma'am would be taking that up. In case if you receive a cue from her, you can unmute yourself and you can go ahead and ask the question. In addition to that, there will also be a dedicated question and answer round at the end. Now, without further ado, introducing this super educator of the day, Miss Devika Datta. She is a passionate educator who believes in relationships over curriculum. She has taught in the IB curriculum for over 11 years now. 9 years as PYP in PYP as a homeroom tutor and a grade coordinator. And currently, she is the MYP1 coordinator and the language and literature teacher at Pathways World School. She has also graduated with an honors in English literature. She was also awarded the International Corona Warrior Educators Award on Teachers Day 2020 for her exceptional teaching upskilling during the pandemic. She is also a tech wizard when it comes to using technology effectively in the online scenario. She loves participating in webinars and workshops and loves learning more about education world. She continues to adopt best practices from around the world into her classroom. Thank you so much, Devika ma'am, for doing this. I'm very excited to learn about using energizers and brain breaks in the classroom. And I hope for an amazing learning experience as well. It is an incredible honor to learn from you. So thank you so much for doing this. Over to you.
Thank you so much for such a warm welcome to me. I apologize that I was a little late. I couldn't join in a little early because, the school has begun physically for us and I still had my duties to complete. But I'm here and I'm really excited to share a little about, using energizers and brain breaks in the classrooms to make teaching learning a more meaningful experience for our students as well as for the teachers. Yeah, so here is a quick strategy that you could use in your day-to-day life for your own sanity. So this strategy is called bin, bag, and bring. All right, and you can also use this strategy with your students where you teach them the idea of binning, bagging, and bringing. And when we do this, we use certain hand movements, especially for the small ones. So you bin, when you put something in the dustbin, you bag something, so you put a zipper on it, and you bring something like a little tray. All right, so what do you bin, what do you bag, what do you bring? I want at least 3 of you to respond to me as I tell you. So bin would be the thoughts, the feelings that you have no control over, okay, things that you cannot change. Bag are those thoughts, issues, problems which you cannot tackle at that moment, but you definitely need to go and resolve the problem or the thought or the issue, and you need to bag it to resolve it, to tackle it later. And you bring with you the thoughts and feelings which you think would be most conducive for your learning environment. All right, so bin, bag, bring. Would anybody like to be a risk taker and share from their own personal experiences something from today? Let's say you want to bin, you want to bag, and you want to bring. Would anybody like to speak up and share? Can I request, since no one's speaking up, I'm going to be the teacher here, like I do with my senior kids who do not talk at times. I'm going to ask you. So can I request Babita? Babita, would you be kind enough to share with us something that you would like to bin, bag, and bring? Would Babita like to respond?
Yes, Devika, can you just tell me once again? Bin means the things that we can't change.
Something that you can't change. So think about your day to day. Think about something that
Yeah,
probably you had no control over. You just need to
yeah.
bin that. Okay.
So,
Then
yeah,
you bag something that you probably need to resolve, but at the moment when you're stepping into a classroom, let's say, you can't deal with that moment, so you bin it. And finally, you
okay,
bring to the classroom certain thoughts, feelings, which will make your lesson really, really productive.
okay.
So if we
So,
can go to the
bin
next
means
slide, they can have a look at what bin bag bring looks like.
bin is like there are certain like family environment we can't change it. Like,
Yes.
and ban is like if I am angry, I have to resolve that. Like, I should come out of my anger.
Mm-hmm.
And bring means, yeah, what I should bring to the class is I should uh, I should be with the students, and I should come with all the positive emotions, so that, and obviously the preparations will be there, class preparations and the good emotions, positive emotions, so that I can teach the class well. Is that you meant?
Yes, perfect. And you could
Okay.
also use this strategy with your students on a morning, when you feel that your children have come to class and you see that they are a little off, they're probably not in their own happy and
Okay.
mood. You could ask them and share the strategy with them and ask them in their own minds. They could bin something that has been really troubling them, but they know that
Okay.
they have no control over. Bin
Correct.
back something that they know that we need to work on, but not at this moment. Let's say it's your math class and they are still struggling maybe with the history assignment that the child did not submit on time, and he's going to be pulled up and he knows that. So you ask the child to bag it, and you can go back to it in your free time. Maybe you can write an email to your teacher and bring what do you think you can bring to the classroom today so that you are more productive. So maybe it's a he needs to have all his resources in place. Maybe it's a handout that you have given to the child. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
All right.
yes.
So moving on, if you could move to the next slide. Yeah, so this was the strategy I was talking about, where you bin, you bag, and you bring. So you can use the strategy not just for school, but also when you go back home as teachers, you're going back home and you need to bin certain events that may have happened in school which you had no control over. There's no point thinking about, oh my God, my principal walked into my classroom at the moment when there was utter chaos and then you really couldn't do anything about it. You may want to bag certain issues that you need to resolve back at school, but it has no place right now at home. And you bring with you positive thoughts and feelings towards your home so that you have a happy and peaceful evening. Okay, so not just in school but also in your personal life, you can definitely use the strategy bin, bag, and bring. Okay, let's move to the next slide. This strategy I picked up from Circle Time. I had attended Jenny Mosley's session on how to conduct effective circle time. So, certain things will definitely be from there. This is a prayer for all those working in schools. I thought it would be a good idea to just read it for a lighter moment. So, can I request Madhulita if you could just read this poem to all of us?
Sure, Devika. Dear God, so far today I've done all right. I haven't gossiped. I haven't lost my temper. I haven't criticized or moaned. I haven't been snappy, grumpy, nasty, selfish, or overindulgent. I'm very thankful for that. But in a few minutes, Lord, I'm going to get out of bed, and from then on, I'm probably going to need a lot more help. Amen.
Okay, so I hope it gave you a little laugh that, the moment you hit the ground, you're out of bed, things go crazy, and you just have to deal with it on a day to day basis. All right, moving to the next slide. Can we change the slide, please? All right, so now I want you to think about golden moments, all right? And I want each and every one of you to think about what is a golden moment. All right, if you could go back to the previous slide, it tells you what a golden moment is. So can each of you tell me or put it in the chat box, what is a golden moment for you? What could be a golden moment for you? Yeah, think of a golden moment. As teachers, what is a golden moment for you? We can stay on this slide. Every one of you just type what is a golden moment for you. Okay, when students answer actively is a golden moment for Sharda. All right. When a weak student comes and appreciates the class is a golden moment for Babita. Excellent. Madhurita feels that when her students apply their knowledge or take action is a golden moment for her. Gayatri feels energetic, smiling students are golden moments for her. A beautiful moment which brings a smile is a golden moment for Kaushal. Okay. Any other, it could be a personal one. It doesn't have to be associated with work. It could be something personal that is a golden moment for you. When I wake up, it's my golden moment. All right, Miss Pratima. When students give quick responses in class, when other teachers appreciate my students is a golden moment for Miss Pine too. Okay, great. When our dreams come true, it's a golden moment. When it's Friday, yes, it's a golden moment. Excellent. All right, if we can move to the next slide, I would want you to understand what truly a golden moment is. All right, so based on the responses that everybody gave us right now, we made sure, we wrote about golden moments which were not in our contact, in our control directly. You are dependent on somebody else to give you that golden moment. For example, when Pratishtha said that when students give good response to her, that's her golden moment. When other teachers appreciate your students, that becomes a golden moment. So when you think that these are golden moments, you are giving the rights of your golden moments to somebody else. However, golden moments are moments that you create for yourself. All right. And I know in the rush of time when we are running around from pole to post getting things done, having golden moments are really, really tough. However, I would strongly recommend that each of us create at least 3 golden moments in a day which are not connected with anything. They should be completely your moments, not dependent on your students, not dependent on your family, not dependent on anybody, just completely yourself. Yeah, so 1 minute a day, which is only 60 seconds, is a time when you can spend with yourself, just calming yourself down, taking a couple of breaths and being in the moment. Yeah, for example, you have a lesson back to back, you have English now and you have another English in the next class, and there is barely any time in between. Instead of focusing on the craziness, what's going to happen, my resources, take a deep breath, pause for just 1 minute and create a golden moment for yourself. Yeah, in that moment just forget about the rest of the world so that you are a little bit focused and with yourself. When I have a sip of a cup of tea in the evening after a tiring day, perfect, Sharda, that's the golden moment where you are not bothered with the rest of the world, you're not bothered with the so many assignments that you have to check, you're not bothered about the reports that you have to write, just you with a cup of tea. That's it, that's your golden moment. So it's very important for us as educators to create these golden moments for ourselves so that we can be the best educators in the classroom. Yeah, for me a golden moment could be the time when everybody at home is asleep and I have woken up the first at home and I am enjoying a cup of tea, not bothered by what's happening outside, not worrying about what's going to happen once everybody gets up. Yeah, but you have those 3 minutes in a day. Please dedicate to yourself as educators, which will really, really help you in becoming better educators and more sane educators. Yeah, moving ahead, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so let's get energized, right? We'll come to what are energizers and brain breaks in a minute. So Do you all know this interesting rhyme which children learned when we were young? Sailor went to sea, sea, sea. Yes? So this is a really fantastic energizer that you can use with young students and even older ones, even with your colleagues in a meeting, where you get everybody to stand up and you use certain hand movements like the sailor went to sea, 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 to see what he could see, 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 and all that he could see, see, see was the bottom of the deep blue sea, sea, sea. Then you go to the next one. The sailor went to knee, 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 to see what he could knee, knee, knee. Yeah, and all that he could knee, knee, knee was the bottom of the deep blue knee, knee, knee. And here you make the students get up and they have to touch the body part. So see, I was doing this. At knee, I would be touching my knee. You can, be more creative and you can make them touch their toe, toe, toe to see what they can toe, toe, toe. And it's really fun because everybody is up, they are moving around. It's a very simple energizer, but it's an important one when the lesson feels a little tiresome or boring, or you know that you have much more to achieve in terms of work from the students, so give them a quick energizer in between. Yeah, I remember Madhulita had shared in the beginning while we were struggling with the presentation is little things that she does in her class, like peel the banana, where she makes them peel, chop, and make finally going banana. So the whole idea is to make students move, jump, and just get out of the seats for a while. Let's go to the next slide. All right, so why do we need energizers? Why do we need brain breaks? Because students these days cannot concentrate for too long. And the culprits behind this are the overstress of technology, and especially today where students have to have so many online classes, although some schools are opening physically, but a lot of schools are yet to open physically. A lot of parents are yet to take the decision to send their children back to school. So overstressed by technology, lack of sleep, lack of exercise are the culprits behind students not being able to concentrate very well these days. On an average, males can concentrate for a maximum of 6 minutes and females can concentrate for a maximum of 5 minutes, according to studies, right? Interesting, right? Let's move ahead. So what are brain breaks? Brain breaks are nothing but simple exercises designed to equip the teacher with tools to manage the physiology and the attention of the class. Research shows that structured physical movement can enhance our readiness for learning. Okay, let's move to the next one. 2 more points. So physical movement increases the oxygen in the blood system and leads to improved concentration. In addition, adding a movement or physical action to a learning point will help recall better for the students. All right, so brain breaks are hence very important. Leave room for 5 minutes energizers before the end of a lesson. Sometimes, you can have the students decide which time. You can have an energizer manager. I would have energizer managers in my class who would tell me, ma'am, the class is getting boring, we need to have an energizer. And immediately they will be the ones who will come up with their own little energizers and keep a time of 5 minutes. You can have 2 minutes energizers in the middle of a lesson, 1 minute somewhere else. At least have 5 minutes of energizers during the course of your lesson, which can really boost the learning and productivity of your class. You may have a stand timer or set an alarm for the same time, so that the children are also aware that yes, 5 minutes is all we get and the rest of the time we definitely need to focus. Yeah, so please make sure that you in your lesson plans try and have 5 minutes space just for energizers and brain breaks. Moving to the next slide. Can we change the slide? Yeah, all right. All right, so also when you do certain actions which has clapping, movement, rubbing, Oxytocin gets released when you touch, and a lot of it is released when we clap, touch, and feel. And oxytocin has huge health benefits. For example, it can help in stress reduction. It can help in decreasing anxiety. It can help in weight loss, improved sleep, more energy and focus, and it also helps with autism related symptoms. Yeah, oxytocin, which is released when you rub your fingers, you rub your hands, you clap, oxytocin is released. Okay. Moving ahead, oxytocin is also known as um, the love hormone. Yeah, there you go. So when you want, whenever you find yourself filled with love, it's because of a certain special hormone called oxytocin, or the love hormone. So when mothers breastfeed, that's oxytocin, the motherhood hormone. At birth, mothers are awash with oxytocin. And hence, when you're in the class and you have a child who's really, maybe he's extremely fidgety, he or she is unable to sit at a place for a long time in the physical setup. If you go and you just rub his back, or just a touch can make a difference and make the child feel calmer. Of course, now with the new scenario, I don't think touching or any physical contact with students will be allowed for a long time. However, you can get them to rub their hands, clap, use certain movements which will generate this hormone in the body. Moving on. And dopamine. This is a neurotransmitter which is associated with movement and mood. It also helps carry information. And exercise is the best way to stimulate dopamine production. Hence, when you have energizers which involves movement, clapping, you are creating feel-good hormones like endorphins, dopamine, as well as oxytocin. And this is really going to help the students become better learners. Yeah, so it's not just strategies, it also has science behind it, which helps in the overall productivity of a student in the class. Let's go to the next slide. All right, and remember, only happy and calm children learn. If the children are happy, they're laughing, they're having a good time, is only when they will be able to learn. Not clam children, but calm children. If they are clam, they're going to shut. All right, let's move to the next slide. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about circle time, which is a really interesting strategy to involve students in movement, to involve students in bringing discussion worthwhile in the classroom. So what do you think circle time is? I was fortunate enough to attend a workshop by Jenny Mosley, who is the pioneer of circle time. And if you have the time, definitely look her up, Jenny Mosley, and her strategies on energizers, on using circle time effectively in the class. So what do you think a circle time could be? Can anybody respond to me? Anyone? Would Miss Pratishta, would you like to respond? Or anyone else? Would you like to put it in the chat box, perhaps? Yes, Pratishta.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. So I
Yes.
think that circle time is a time when the student want to some free space, free time for their energy, for releasing their energy.
Okay.
I
All
think.
right. Kaushal has put in the chat box that it's a discussion on a topic. Madhulita thinks it's part of a responsive classroom approach. Okay. All right. Any other thoughts? Okay, let's move to the next slide and you'll have your answer there. In this, they speak about anything and without hesitation. Chit chat time, Miss Sangeeta says. Okay, great. So let's first see what it is not. What is not a circle time. So it is not really a chit chat time, really. It is not a chat show kind of a scenario. It is not an emotional indulgence where the students will now share all about their emotions. It is not a teacher interrogation. It is not a teacher's moral platform to preach her ideas. It is not a being nice competition where children, share good things about each other all the time. And it is not just for pupils. A circle time can also be done with children, with adults, with teachers. Madhulita feels it's setting the tone for the day. Yes, you may have a circle time right at the beginning of a day to set the tone of the day. You can also have it any other time of the day to just get the group together to discuss certain things. All right, as Sharda has written, that it could be a group discussion and expressing your knowledge about a particular topic, or it could be about practicing gratitude, as Pratima says. It is a discussion time, but what sort of a discussion? Let's have a look at it. All right, let's move to the next slide. All right, so circle time is active participatory learning. It has a focus, it has a topic, it has an issue at its center. It develops social skills through the activities that you do in a circle time. It has relevance as part of its appeal. It has to be relevant to the students or the adults with whom you are doing the circle time. And of course, enjoyment has to be part of its appeal. Otherwise, a brain break, an energizer, a circle time has no value as such. All right, let's move to the next slide. All right, so let's try and do a quick circle time with all of you. Having said that, let's try a circle time. Do note how it plays out as we will reflect on it after the session. So we will talk about how do you think the circle time went after we try a little one right now. Okay, so if you could stop sharing the screen, I can have the people who are together right now on the screen together, and we can try a quick circle time. Yeah, so you can try the circle time in an online scenario as well as a physical scenario. In a physical scenario, everybody is sitting in a circle with the teacher in the middle, and then you have a certain sort of discussion around that you want to build. So let's say there is an issue in the class of bullying, and you get to know that there is a group of students who are bullying the other set of students, and you don't want to directly address it to the students. You don't want to call them and tell them and reprimand them, but you definitely want to address it as a serious issue. So how can we do that? We can do it through a quality circle time. And what do we do in that? We all sit in a circle, and then we start with a quick energizer, right? So the energizer could be a simple one where you ask them to nod, you ask them to clap their hands, you can have a passing of a wave of happiness. So you start a wave and you gently tap the person next to you who begins the wave, and all the way around till you receive your wave back. Yeah, so it just gets everybody alert, everybody active. And then you move to pointing out something that you want to discuss. So maybe you have a, a soft toy or a ball or some sort of a tool, yeah, which is the only one which is held in your hand, and whoever has it will have to speak up about something. So now I know as a teacher, I have decided that I'm going to do the circle time today only to address the bullying issue that was reported to me, let's say. So to build on to that, we are going to do something. So I would probably have a toy, let's say, yeah, in my class, and I would say that I have a special friend with me today, and the special friend is feeling a little lonely. Okay, and the special friend feels very ashamed of how he or she looks. Would you like to meet the special friend? So it could be a little soft toy that I have. Okay, and everybody, of course, the children get excited, even adults get excited. Okay, yes, who's this friend you have? Then I bring out the soft toy and I say, okay, so here she is. Would anybody like to say something, say hello to my friend? You can give it an imaginary name, and everybody says hi in their own way. Somebody says hi, somebody says hello, how are you? And you can do a little role play with a little toy with you, and the toy doesn't want to come out. I did not bring a toy, I would have, role played it for you. So, and then you move on to saying that, he's been really upset, that nobody wants to be his friend, people are making fun of him. What do you think he should do when he is being treated like this? What do you think he should do? So I want you to say this: would it help if? So give them a phrase, and each child then responds to your question, to your prompt, using would it help if. So let's say I have named my soft toy Joe, and I want everybody, my class, to help Joe deal with this issue where everybody is making fun of him, nobody is talking to him, nobody is his friend. So would it help if, would anybody like, in this group right now, would you like to give a suggestion to Joe using the phrase would it help if? Would anybody like to try it? Kaushal, would you like to try? So I have my friend, let's say this is my friend, and
You
he's feeling
repeat,
lonely.
Devika ma'am?
Yeah, so Kaushal, my friend is feeling really lonely, and I want the class to make him feel comfortable. And since he has no friends, I want the class to tell this friend of mine, which is a soft toy right now, it's a sanitizer, would it help if, and give him a suggestion which will help my soft toy to feel more comfortable. I think SP has hand up.
Okay,
Uh,
so I'm going to, if I have a snack, so I'm going to offer a snack, or I would like to crack a joke so that I can provide him some kind of smile on his face, or we can
all
go
right.
for a small walk or take a small tour of the classroom, looking at different aspects and talking about various pedagogies. So we can
Okay.
go it like this way.
Kaushal, instead of saying so many things, you could have just said, would it help if I shared my candy with you? Okay, so I want you to start with, would
Okay,
it help
okay.
if, and come up with a solution. So Kaushal says, would it help if I shared my candy with you? Or would it help if we took a walk around the class? Sharda, do you want to share something? Would it help?
Yeah, I would say, would it help if I give you my new colors?
All right. Would it help if I gave you my new colors? All right. And then you can, have an animated response from the toy where the toy, shakes vigorously. Yes, yes, yes. He really likes the idea. And you say, wow, I think Joe really likes the idea. He would definitely like to share your crayons with you. Yeah. Then you ask somebody else to say something with the same phrase, would it help? So would anybody else like to say something to Joe to make him feel more comfortable, not make him feel very lonely, so that he feels good about himself? Anybody else? Please go ahead and unmute yourself. Would it help if I listen to you? Yeah, Pratima, that's really nice. So you give a solution that to Joe, would it help if, and Joe would be really happy, and I would pretend and ask Pratima, you must send me your email address because I'm going to give it to Joe, and Joe is going to communicate with you soon. Jyoti, yes, you have a response.
Would you like to share me your first day experience?
Okay, would you like to share your first day's experience with me? Right? And then,
Or you would you like to me would you like me to like yourself to introduce?
okay, would you like to introduce yourself to all of us?
Yes.
Yes. So, instead of you telling the students that, guess what? All right, we have this new child in our class, Joe. He's feeling really lonely. None of you are being nice to him. Nobody is being his friend. Uh, and you telling them what they should do. You should share your things with him. You should talk to him. You should ask, come introduce yourself to him. You are bringing out the solutions from the students themselves, and they would feel more involved in the decision making. So I have Gayatri who says, would it help if I play with you? Very nice. So you reach certain solutions on your own. Would it help if we dance together? Yes. Would it help if I share my chocolate with you? So you, through your, little circle time, with you coming up with a phrase and getting the answers from the students, gives the students more ownership and the responsibility, and they do drive in the idea that bullying is not a great idea. Then you can have Joe do some act and make him disappear, and then you move to the next bit of circle time. So you've done an energizer, you've introduced a problem, so this has become a little tense perhaps. Yeah, so you may want to discuss that, sometimes people feel lonely, and the solutions that you gave can really help them feel more comfortable. So you've tackled the issue, however the environment has perhaps become a little serious. So now we need to bring that environment to some sort of fun, yeah, so that it breaks that seriousness and brings a little lightness to the atmosphere. So what do you think we could do now as a third step? So first step, energizer. Second step, introduce the issue through a resolution. Third, just to bring about some sort of fun, some sort of positivity. What can we do? Would anybody like to share? Okay, so I'll tell you what we could do next is get the students to appreciate something about one another. I remember somebody had mentioned gratitude, right? You practice mindfulness, so you can bring in a little bit of element of gratitude here, where you ask the students appreciate something from the week that has gone by. Let's say you're having this meeting at the end of the week, and you say, that's great, we've come up with the solution of how to help new students settle in, or how to help with children who are facing bullying. Now let's have a round of appreciation. So each one of you is going to now appreciate one person in this team, in this class, and something that you have noticed about that person. So let's say I'm friends with Jyoti, and I'm going to say, Jyoti, I really appreciate how you helped me with the math assignment. Yeah, and then Jyoti is the one who got appreciated, so Jyoti will now else and appreciate something else about another person, and so on till everybody in the class has been appreciated for something or the other. Okay, so it doesn't always have to be appreciation. Next time it could be sharing of a really funny joke, or sharing of some really silly incident that happened with them. Yeah, so you bring in a bit of lightness after that serious discussion and that serious tense mood of the classroom. You bring the mood towards lightness through some sort of fun, some sort of positive discussion that you can hold. Okay, so that is up to the creativity of the teacher, how he or she would like to do it. And you end the circle time then maybe again with a wave of happiness, where you send that wave once again. You start with me, I create the wave, I tap the person next to me who also creates the wave, and the wave keeps moving around the class till it comes back to me. All right, so this was a quick strategy of using circle time effectively. Circle time, as I said, is not just a chit chat time. It is not unstructured. You still have, the teacher should have an agenda in mind when you're doing the circle time. All right, it is not always necessary that you have to have the second step. Perhaps there has been no issue, but you can still have a circle time where you can go to the appreciation round, or you can go to the positivity round directly and end the class with that. Okay, all right, can I have the slides back on? I can see Sharda has written, we may make them sit in a circle and tell to appreciate the friend sitting right next to them. Yeah, you can do that as well. Okay, can we have the slides back on? Any questions from anybody at this point? All right, okay, great. All right, moving to the next one. Next slide. All right, so when you have circle times in classrooms, these are certain rules that you can set for your students so that it happens in a very constructive manner. So one person speaks at a time. You can have a toy or a crystal ball. Whoever holds that ball is the only one who is going to speak. There should be no put downs, that you don't put down anybody else. You may pass if you need time to think. It is not necessary that everybody has to speak. You may pass, but you must come back and speak up, and we listen when the others are talking. So you can set certain ground rules for your circle time to happen successfully. Moving ahead. All right, so now lots of talk, lots of discussion. Let's get energized. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate an energizer for you that you could do in your classroom. So actually it would have been great if I had a pair. So what you do in this one is you make the students stand up, stand in a circle. If they are not able to move around in the classroom space, they can still do it in the screens. You make them all stand up and you tell them to do 3 actions, let's say. So you can say, okay, move to your left, 2 steps to the left. Then you say move 2 steps to the right. Then you say stick out your tongue. Something very silly that you think that your students would really like. And then tell them that next time you say the instruction, they have to do just the opposite. So if it is move to the left, 2 steps to the left, they would have to move 2 steps to the right. If you say move, close your eyes, they'll have to open their eyes. If you tell them to stick out their tongue, they will not stick out their tongue. And if it is, don't stick out their tongue, they should stick out their tongue. So you start with the normal instructions, they do it as it is. The next round, you make it a little difficult and ask them to do the opposites. Yeah, and that is super fun. I can't see any of you, otherwise we could have definitely tried it. Okay, let's go to the next slide. All right, so well, not just only a quality circle time, but for any sort of lessons, any sort of tasks that you do, it is very, very important that teacher should be in a very good mood. If the teacher is in a good mood, great, then the rest of the class will also be in a good mood. So how do we be in a good mood? Use the first strategy that I shared with you, bin, bag, bring. Bin the things that you have no control over, bring with you certain positive energies that you need, and bag the issues that you need to resolve later. And one more thing, you need to have your golden moments. So if there was chaos in the previous lesson, have a minute of a golden moment for yourself and get on so that you are in a good mood. You must have a lot of games, try and have timetabled quality circle times, or those energizers, 5 minutes planned into the lesson. Plan for it and have a kit with a lot of fun things, props, etc., to make your lessons more interesting. Let's move to the next slide. Can we change to the next slide? Okay. All right, so have you heard of this one? It's a really funny one, and I think every child loves it. Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? So I'm going to play this with you, and I'm just going to call out participants' names, okay? So who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? I think Kanika stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Kanika, what would you say if you know this game? Have you played? Who knows this game? So we can quickly play it. Does anybody know it? Who would like to play with me?
I know.
Yes, who's this? If you could call out
It's
your name.
Shirin Mistry.
Yes, would you like to play with me, Shirin? Okay, so Shirin and I will start, and then we are going to ask somebody else. Madhulita, you also know this game?
Yes.
Okay,
But
so
how
Madhulita,
about just, telling what exactly happens when you call out the first sentence?
Okay, so we can do it together, all right? So, who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? I think Shirin stole the cookie from the cookie jar.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Wouldn't be.
Then who?
Sorry, I can't see the name. My phone got locked. Just a minute.
Madhulita.
Madhulita stole the cookie from the cookies jar.
And then Madhulita, you say, who, me?
Who, me?
Then Shirin says, yes, you. And Madhulita says, couldn't be. Then
Yeah, couldn't be.
Then who?
Then who?
Then who?
Then Madhulita chooses somebody else. Let's say
I
Renu.
think Jyoti stole the cookie from the cookie jar.
Yes, and then the person you have called out will say, who, me? You say, then yes, you. And then you continue this quick chain, and it's really fun. The kids get energized. They don't know who's going to be asked next. So it's a very simple one. We all played it as children, and it'll definitely bring about a little bit of energy in the middle of the class. So these are simple rhymes, games that you can use to make your classes a little less monotonous. You can just break and then get back to work. All right, let's move to the next slide. All right, so a lot of teachers at times ask, what do we do with students who are distracted? No matter how many times we are using energizers, we are doing so many things, yet the child is distracted, will not listen to you. The strategy that works really well is to ignore and distract. Yeah, every time a teacher tells of a child, not only the child, but the special children in the class will take it as a cue and would want negative attention from the teacher rather than none at all. So instead of telling off a child in the middle of a class and telling him, stop doing this, don't do this, the best idea first is to ignore and then distract the child from doing what he or she is doing. So let's say you're observing a child is not in your classroom. He is visibly, somewhere else. You can see behind the screen, let's say it's an online scenario, and you know that the child is not with you. The child is elsewhere playing a game, perhaps. The best strategy, instead of saying, what are you doing? Why aren't you paying attention? You ignore that behavior, you distract so that he or she is back in the class. So you can tell that, okay, I think this was great. Can so and so, let's say Shireen has been really naughty, and I'll say, can Shireen make a list of 5 points that will be discussed in the next 10 minutes? So you've given a task to the child who was really disruptive, was distracted. Instead of reprimanding the child, you give the child some sort of a responsibility, some sort of a task, and successfully lead the child to being more focused in class while not distracting the rest of the class. Because often you will notice you're reprimanding one child, the others are having a great time listening to you, and they would try and coax you to do something more than that. Oh yes ma'am, he's always playing games, and then it becomes a huge discussion in the classroom rather than the classroom being focused on what you need to do. Okay, so ignore and distract is a great way. If the children are in a physical setup and you know that one of the children is not focused, instead of again reprimanding him, calling him out or her out in the class, you could just go and tap gently at the desk or have a little note, put it on his desk, and just move away and continue with the class. That, hi, I hope you're with me. Okay, let's focus. You can have little tiny handouts, or you can just go and tap on the child's shoulder, and the child would know that you have noticed that he or she is distracted. Okay, so ignore and distract rather than reprimand and point. Let's go to the next slide. Well, reflection time also for teachers. Sometimes when children are really badly behaved, is it really bad behavior or is it a bored behavior? It would be a great reflection for us as teachers. If the child is behaving badly, is it because he is a bad child or is it because he is bored? And what you're teaching perhaps is just not interesting him. Yeah, so you need to have a brain break. You need to have an energizer there. You could also have students create their own little energizers so that they feel more involved. Yeah. Okay, so is it bad behavior or is it bored behavior? Okay, let's move to the next slide. So the moment you raise your voice, you have lost the attention of the students. They have just blocked you right then and there. You should drop your voice and you will definitely gain more attention. Let's go to the next slide.
Devika, if I may add here.
Yes.
Talking about getting bored, because I mean, we believe in differentiation and we do differentiate our lessons, but there are times when we forget about the gifted children in our class and we do not plan to cater to their needs. And obviously they get bored very quickly because they're done with their work in just 2 minutes and they have nothing else to do. So they start fidgeting, they start making noise, chaos, all that happens. So probably, I mean, because it has happened to me, so I thought of sharing it with the group.
Yes, I think that's absolutely right. There is, when we think of differentiation, we often think it's for the students who have a learning disability, perhaps, or a learning need. Whereas there are students who are high achievers in our class, overachievers, perhaps gifted, who are, who are not going to be excited by the simple task that you do. So hence differentiation needs to be looked from all the three lenses of an average student, a high achieving student, as well as a student who needs a lot of support. Yes, so having, in the physical setup, it's always great to have little corners in your classroom where you have challenge tasks which the students would independently know. If it's a rhythm of your class, they would know, I finish my task, I can go there, I can read something, or I can, answer a couple of riddles, maybe some math challenge, quick sums are there for me to attempt. So based on the dynamics of the class, you can have these certain rules. The differentiation can be done very intelligently. Yeah, so and another thing that we must always remember is that when we plan a lesson for our class, it is not aimed for the students who are low achievers, and neither is it for the highest of the achievers. We plan it for the average learners, and then we differentiate on either ends. Yeah. Okay, laughter is the most important sound in learning. So if laughter is missing from your class, then we need to really realign our lessons, replan our lessons so that there is some element of fun and laughter in the class. It could be in the form of a joke, it could be in the form of some exciting quiz or game that you're playing. It could be, the teacher being really silly, but laughter should be definitely there in your classroom. Moving ahead, and energizers and brain breaks are definitely going to ensure a lot of laughter. Okay, so this is a fun game. Again, if you are in pairs, it works beautifully. You can have two children stand opposite one another, and you start with a simple 1, 2, 3. So I clap 1, or I just say 1. So the first round is only 1, 2, 3. I say 1, my partner says 2, I say 3 again. Okay, so this is very simple. Everybody can do it. Put them in pairs and let them do it. 1, 2, 3. Next, complicate it a little bit. Instead of 1, you have to nod. Then your friend will say 2, and then you say 3. Then back to 1, you nod, 2, 3. All right, so this they will find a little challenging. Then move to the third level, where you nod for 1, you clap for 2, and you say 3. So this is going to get a little more challenging, and try it with your colleagues if you can. Before trying it with your friends, you will be in splits. So you nod and the next person has to clap, then you say 3. And the highest level of difficulty would be nod, clap, grin. So for 1, you nod, for 2, you clap, for 3, you grin, do make a silly face. Yeah, so try it, and I think the children would love it. It's a quick, fun one. They would definitely enjoy this one. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, red elbow is a fun energizer. I play it with everybody, whether it's students, teachers, colleagues. It's super fun. So it's called red elbow. It's a color with a body part. Yeah, so the simple task is you have to find that color and attach that body part to the color. So let's say it's red elbow. I need to find something red. So here I have a pouch and I need to have my elbow on it. So in a classroom scenario, of course, it's fun. The kids can run around and put their body parts wherever. And then you say green fingers. They run around the class and put their fingers on something green. Then you say purple nose. Then they have to find something purple and put their nose on it. And I'm always very clever. What do? I know the color of the chairs in my class. So let's say they are blue chairs. So at the end, my final call out would be blue bottoms. And everybody would scramble. And obviously, most students would find a chair and sit on the chair. And that would be the end of the game. So you can be creative and use color and body parts to have fun. It could also be used for very young children when you are teaching them colors, you're teaching them body parts. So you can use this for association of both. Okay, let's go to the next slide. All right, so certain online tools that you can definitely use for energizers are Jeopardy Labs. It's an excellent tool for quizzes where students choose different levels of the questions. So it's not just a simple question, you choose the level. So you have 500 points for a really difficult question, you have 200 points. So as a team, they will call out, okay, I need 300 points. And the difficulty of the question will be based on the number of points. The lower the points, the lesser the difficulty level. And my kids have a ball playing Jeopardy Labs. You can find it on the internet. I'll also share the link with you as I speak. So Jeopardy Labs, we've played simple games like, some of my children love the Avengers. Yeah, so they have Marvel and DC, the comic rivals. So we play on these, we play on sports. So Jeopardy Labs, there are thousands of quizzes already available. You just click there and you can spend 10 minutes playing a quick quiz. Jeopardy Labs does not only have to be quizzes based on random things, it could be also focused on your unit or your lesson, your concept, yet it brings in a lot of fun. Okay. Quizzes, I'm sure you know, Quizzes is an excellent source for creating quizzes online. Kahoot is another super fun one. Spin the wheel when you want students to speak up, especially ones who do not speak very often. You use the spinner strategy, put in the names of the students, let the computer do the work for you, and it makes everybody speak. You have Microsoft Forms for quizzes or for certain feedback that you want to receive from the students. You can place categories. This is another fun one, especially for me as a language teacher. So categories, I will also share the link of categories with you. You give a letter and there are categories given and the students have to come up with words for each of those categories. Would you like to play a quick round of categories? Would you? So I'm going to quickly play, but oh, sorry, I will not be able to share my screen. I'm handicapped there for some silly reason. So I'm going to share the link with you. Yeah, it has a generator of different letters and you can change the time, you can, change the number of categories. So for example, the letter is E and there will be categories like things that jump and bounce. Can anybody answer? Think of something that jumps and bounces with E, with the letter E. Anything, anybody? Something that jumps, bounces. Okay, don't know. Let's think of a weapon with E. Does anybody know of a weapon with E? No? Okay. What about reasons to quit your job with E? What could that be? Reasons to quit your job with E. Maybe
Just one word?
Just one. No, it could be something bigger also.
Extra words.
Oh, existential crisis. Good one. Yes, that teacher. An enemy. Yeah, super fun, right? Think of something with E now. This time it is a place to hang out. What could be a place to hang out with E? A place to hang out. E. Think. Exhibitions, yes, Gayatri, Eat Street, excellent, there you go. So this is a great game. Please do visit Swell Garfo for categories where you have letters and you have certain categories and the students have to rack their brains. And I almost in every lesson, at least once a week, I play categories, which really helps students think. You're building their vocabulary, you're making them think, and it's an excellent brain break. Eden Garden, yes. Eden Garden should be a great place to hang out. Yeah, so, and the letters keep changing. So you want to change, you restart, have a different letter for a different team or a student. So let's say A, famous females with A. Can anybody quickly type females, famous females with A on the occasion of Women's Day yesterday? Famous females with A, Annie Besant, yes. Aishwarya, everybody knows Aishwarya. Excellent. Next one. Things you're allergic. Things you can be allergic to with A. Aisha Takya. Yeah, a female. Yes. Almonds. Yes, you could be allergic to almonds, air pollution. What about a bad habit with A? Let's think. A bad habit with A. What could be a very bad habit with A? Anger. Yes, Saruja. Alcoholism. Oh my goodness. Yes. And the last one, let's try this. Something that you find in your purse with A. Something in your purse. or a bag with A? What could it be? Amount, aroma, amplifier. Okay, great. Great, there you go. See, you get varied answers from various students and your children would have a blast. So definitely pin this website, which has categories. You can have time, you can have, lessen the levels. You can have lesser categories for younger kids. ATM card, yes, definitely. Aadhaar card, for that matter, for Indians. Great, excellent. So categories, these are some online tools that you can play and bring in brain breaks, which are fun as well as, interesting. Okay, and not just meaningless. Let's go to the next one. Just 2 more slides. I think we'll finish on time. Yeah, so this one is another fun one. ABC, like 1, 2, 3. So, challenge the students to say A1, B2, C3, D4, E5, and as fast as they can. And let's see how many can manage to do that. So a simple yet fun exercise. You can also have, you can play this game called the Prince or the Princess of Persia. So you as a teacher become the Prince of Persia or the Princess, and you make certain demands to the students. So I say, Princess of Persia wants to see a hand sanitizer, and everybody in the class has to come to the screen with a hand sanitizer. And then the princess makes somebody else the prince or the princess. Let's say I want Shireen, could you be the next princess? And you demand something from the students now, from all of us. So first it's me, Princess of Persia wants a hand sanitizer, and everybody within 30 seconds gets a hand sanitizer and shows it on the screen. Take a nice screenshot. Then the princess becomes Shireen. Shireen, your turn.
Can everyone bring crayons for me?
Okay, so instead of saying can everybody, you're going to call yourself the Princess of Persia and wants crayons. You're demanding. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The Princess of Persia wants crayons.
Yes, and then everybody has to, scramble and get you crayons. Then you pass on the prince or the princess crown to somebody else and you continue this game. So a quick brain break, like a little scavenger hunt with the element of some royalty. Okay. All right, let's go to the last slide. Okay, for this, it's called a magic dust clapping round. For this, can I ask for the screen to be stopped sharing? I wish I could see some people on screen. This would make it a little more interesting. So what you do in the magic dust clapping is you tell the children that when I clap, as I do use a hand movement, if my hand movement is really fast, then you have to clap very fast. And if it is very slow or you go up, down, so let's say if I'm going up, you're going to clap very fast. If I'm going down, you're going to clap really slow. Up, down. So you make them clap up and down, up and down, up and down. So you want to try? Okay, so I'm going to ask you. Ready? So you follow my hand movements. If you see my hands going up, you're going to clap very hard, very fast. If you see my hands going down, you will clap slow. Ready? So it's in the middle right now. Everybody clap normal. Great. I'm going up. Coming down. Slow. Then up. Fast, fast, fast. Slow. And in the middle, keep clapping. And that's it. Thank you for your claps for my session. This was my trick to make you all clap for me for taking an excellent class with you today. So you can, fool around with your students and make them clap for you at the end, which I'm sure you don't get on a daily basis. Make them do it for you. Yeah, through an energizer. Okay. All right. Thank you. This was a very quick session on energizers and brain breaks and a little bit of circle time that you could use in the classroom. I am open to any questions, anything that you would like to share. And we can have a quick discussion. I think we still have some time, Kaushal, to have certain questions from one another. We can share strategies with one another, which really worked for us as educators. Yes, Madhulita, Please go ahead.
Devika, one question. So like you suggested to start our day with circle time, do you suggest any strategies to close the day?
Okay, so for closing the day, you could have a mood board in the class. I would have, smileys in my class where the students would slap the smiley based on their experience of the day. So let's say I have a happy, it was a good day, it was excellent, it was outstanding, or it was okay. And the children, as they leave the class, they kind of slap, and you, as a teacher, can see, all right, so this child had a normal day, I must connect with him the next day. Exit tickets really work well, so you can have students write a note about something that really went well, something that they are still wondering, and quickly as they leave, put a sticky note on the door and leave. You could have an entry ticket the next day, not as an exit, but as an entry, where you tell the students that you are going to tell me, let's say you've introduced fractions and maybe equivalent fractions, and you want to assess them whether they've understood or not. So in the morning, you can have them all stand outside your door, and each one of them will have to answer a question as they enter. So you can have an exit in the same way. So you've taught fractions, and at the end, you want to see whether it worked well. You do it through concepts. If you don't want to do it through concepts, you just want them to let you know how the day has been. You could have smileys, you could have something that stuck with them, different strategies that you can adopt as exit tickets. I can share with you certain exit tickets if you are interested. I would definitely email some to you if you would like.
Sure. Thank you, Devika. We do exit tickets, but the slapping smiley thing can really work well with these young kids.
And you would see, they would, if you've had a really great class, they would be excited to go and slap, and they would be slapping it really hard, and you have to tell them, okay, no, calm down, don't hurt yourself. But you know that they have had a good day, or if it's a normal day.
Yeah, even we do fist to five as to just to gauge where they are in terms of their understanding or how they're feeling throughout the day, if there are any challenges. So
Yes,
thank you so much for sharing.
Not at all. Sharda? Yes.
Good evening, Devika ma'am.
Hi.
Thank you so much for the interesting session. I just wanted to share, in our school, we have these well-being calls every day, half an hour. So gradually, yeah, we had started this from the month of May or June, I suppose. So because we wanted children, like based on the situation, they were quite tensed and people couldn't say, but at least the younger ones, they cannot say what's happening. But roundabout, like in the house, everywhere, situation was tense. So we started with these well-being calls, and we have games, dance, singing, bhajan, everything, whatever they like. At times they are playing this color game, which you were saying. Teacher tells the name of some color, and they get something. They go grab it and bring it. Any festivals that we have, they are singing the festival songs also. Lots of expressions, and now we are having this SDGs seminar. So they are making those art things, art gallery. They are creating. Students are creating their artwork. Everything during the well-being calls. So in a day, if you have 2 classes and half an hour of well-being call, at times we have seen parents also joining with the children, and they are playing Antakshari, some Bollywood songs or something or the other. So I just wanted to share this with everyone.
That's a really great idea of having well-being calls, or so you are doing exactly what this whole session was about, having those sessions which make the students feel more alive and connected, to focus on learning instead of just learning at all times. Absolutely.
Correct. We could relate lots of things what you said with us, because the assessment is also being done using Kahoot, Quizlet, all these, so that it's colorful. If they don't feel, oh my God, we are being assessed and we have to give an exam. So,
exactly.
So I could relate with whatever you have said. So that's why I said, hey, I should be sharing. Thank you, ma'am.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that. Would anybody else like to share anything at all? So I had shared right in the beginning, you must look up Jim Elvin on YouTube. He has some fantastic mindfulness chants that he has created from the Plum Village. We were fortunate to have some monks from the Plum Village visit our school, and we could interact with them. So these are also excellent ways to get students to become calm, more mindful, get them, keep their sanity during these times. So definitely have a look at them, download them, share them with each other, get the kids to learn them. They would really enjoy them. Yeah, thank you.
Just one thing before we leave. I
Yes.
feel as if, okay, I'm talking a lot. So something, Devika, that has worked well in this virtual setup is having a designed weekly framework for the students. It's a very quick thing which happens in the morning before we start our sessions or before the timetable, takes over. It's
Yeah.
like we have Math Monday, and then which
true.
is basically focused on building mental maths.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Tell Me About It Tuesday, wherein we focus on
Yeah.
developing their thinking skills and social skills, communication skills. And then we have Would You Rather Wednesday, wherein
Yeah.
critical thinking comes in place.
Yes.
Then Think Out of the Box
Yes.
Thursdays,
Yes,
and Figure It Out
absolutely.
Fridays, or 5 words Fridays.
Yes, these are excellent strategies. I think readily available online. So teachers who do not use these acronyms in their classes just to make the classroom scenario more fun, you can begin the days with these things. Mindful Monday, as she said, treat me something Tuesday, where the children can get some treat for you. It could be anything. You can be creative and have these fun elements. Thanks for sharing, Madhurita.
Okay. Thank
And
you, Devika, for the wonderful session.
thank you so much. In my school, what we do is, my form group, we have a form group where there are a group of students with every teacher. So my form group is such an energized group. They are the ones who plan the whole morning session for me. So we have about 15 minutes connect time with the students before the timetable takes over, as Madhulita said. And we began like this, as she said, we started off in the beginning with Mindful Monday and plan things for the students. Slowly and steadily, they took over and they would plan everything for us. So the kids would be holding a horoscope day for us. So we just had to, as teachers, we just had to sit and let them take over and do things for us. So horoscope day, they were reading out our horoscope for the day. Another day, they were asking us to, they had created a whole trivia of questions for me to answer about them. Very interesting. So they were posing questions and I had to prove to them that I was a very observant teacher. So little things they would ask me or each other. So if you get that energy into the classroom, they take so much from you that they definitely would take the lead, and then you can take a back seat and feel very proud that you have done something worthwhile to make the students look forward to the FT sessions, the form sessions that we have in our school.
Absolutely. And that is where we want our students to be, right? I mean, self-directed learners, they're taking that ownership, agency in play.
Agency, absolutely. Great. Madhurita, are you from Aga Khan in Hyderabad?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's great. Please say hello to Abhimanyu for me. He's a very dear friend.
Sure, I'll do that.
All right. Kaushal, I think I'm at the end of the presentation. If anything we would like to say, anything else anybody else would like to say, please go ahead.
Just a couple of announcements now. So, dear teacher, before we end the session, there's a feedback form link that we appreciate it if you've submitted. Your feedback is crucial to us. It will help us improve, and it will also be one areas where we can reach out to you with the presentation and today's recording as well. So, I request all the teachers, please fill the feedback form. The link is there on the screen, or you can also check the link in the chat box. So, please fill the feedback form before you make a move. And once again, thank you so much, Devika ma'am. I think it was a fantastic session. There is so much depth that you covered in terms of energizers and break rooms, brain breaks. Now, when I look at it, I'm left with a couple of questions. So, when we talk about the higher school kids, 11th and 12th, what are the different techniques that you think would probably be useful while we are addressing them? In specific, where they're usually not responsive towards activities in general. So how do you deal with that?
So I think some of the online tools that I shared definitely opens up a lot of discussions and forces the students to speak up. For example, this categories, even if they are not, let's say, verbally speaking to you, you make them put their responses in the chat box, and you know they are paying attention. And slowly and steadily, you create that bond. They know that ma'am is not going to let us go. We definitely have to respond, and they slowly and steadily open up. You create that bond with your students, I think, as teachers. And that is why I started the session with a focus on ourselves as teachers. We always think about students all the time, but it's really important for us to think about ourselves as teachers first, have golden moments, remain sane, come to class happy, make that bond with the students, and then everything will fall into place. So if you have a set pattern in your classrooms, and the students know that there will be energizers, ma'am is going to expect us to speak up, slowly and steadily they will definitely open up. And categories, my kids love it more than my younger ones. My grade 10 students are waiting, let's just place categories today, can we place categories? So they start opening up. It is a challenge with a lot, but it is a bridge that all of us as teachers need to cross. We need to reach out to them, create that bond, and I think it will work. Sometimes just letting them be, putting relationships over curriculum is something that we must think of as teachers. Curriculum will fall into place, but relationships are so much important. So my motto and my goal as a teacher is always to put relationships before the curriculum. Once you do that, I think the rest will fall into place. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. It's not something that has a solution, especially in today's time. But as a teacher, put relationships over the curriculum, and things will definitely work out for us.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you so much for sharing that. And one interesting part I found with regards to the presentation was when you focused over oxytocin and dopamine. I think it's super important while you are even designing. In fact, the current products or the social media products are built for dopamine release. In fact, they are designed by using frameworks in the same manner. It's fantastic when we are thinking about creating amazing experiences for children and involving, you know, proper theoretical data of this and creating amazing.
Yes.
I think that would be a great way to go.
Yes. Another thing I would like to share for older kids is, involving them in debates with relevant topics for them. So something that is not connected to the curriculum, maybe a current affair which is very relevant to them. Bring that into the classroom and have them debate for a while, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just listen to what they have to say. And I must say that most of the kids today are so much more aware of themselves and their surroundings than what we used to be when we were young. So have those dialogues going in, get the students to teach a concept to a friend, have them hold workshops where they teach a skill that they're really proud of to the rest of this classmates. We'll give them opportunities to speak up, give them opportunities to come up and be more vocal. Yeah, that will definitely work.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for these amazing insights, ma'am. Dear teachers, you can follow Devika ma'am on Twitter. She is very active. Her handle's name is at the rate of Devika the 15. So in case if you have any questions, you can reach out to her on Twitter. Also, if you have enjoyed today's session, we'd really love it if you could, post your thoughts on Twitter and tag us. And we look forward to another enriching session tomorrow. Tomorrow's session would be all about how do we create video resumes, and it is again at the same time. So once again, thank you so much for taking your time out, Devika ma'am, for this amazing session. And I look forward to learning more from you and collaborating with you once again.
Yes. Yes, and I would like to just drop in my email if anybody would like to, connect with me beyond Twitter. Please feel free to email me at devikadatta15@gmail.com. It's the same as the Twitter handle with Gmail. So it will be great to communicate. We can collaborate about ideas. If you want to share something that really worked well in your class, I would love to hear it. So let's get this communication going, and I would really, really love to hear from most of you. And would I also receive the feedback that everybody gives about?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'll be sharing you the access. Yeah. Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for coming today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, teachers. With that, we come to an end of day 5. We hope you had a great learning experience. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 4. And the new link would be shared in all the WhatsApp groups or the Telegram channels wherever you're coming from. So thank you once again, and we hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, you.
So in case if you not fill the feedback form, teachers, before you make a move, a request on the teachers to please fill in the feedback form. Thank you so much.